So, welcome to Past, Present, Future, the Full Circle podcast. On this podcast, we will be speaking to artists, managers, label owners, stylists, really anyone involved within the UK music and rap industry. The aim is to give you a full circle overview on their life, their past, their present, and obviously their future. So, Past, Present, Future, Episode 3. We are back. We're here with Floetic. So, just to give a small intro, we've been in contact with Flo for a long time, probably, 12 months, on and off. And we've just it's never been the right moment to get something going until now. So I'm really excited.
Come on.
So, I mean, feel free to introduce yourself and then we can kind of get into the nitty gritty of the conversation.
Yeah, like Laurie said, I'm Floetic, I'm Flo. Most people call me Flo. I'm an artist from Croydon, South London. Been doing music for I think it's a very long time. I've come from a musical background, family wise. So introduced it quite early, but I feel like I've only taken it kind of seriously the past couple of years. I've been kind of on and off, but I feel like past couple of years I've really found who I am as an artist, and it's go time now. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think there's a lot of little snippets within that brief explanation that you've given that we can kind of work our way into throughout the conversation. But as people will know by now, so the structure within this podcast is to start at the very beginning, then to talk about what's going on at the moment, and then look, what are you looking to do in the future and why are you looking to do it? So I do want to stick to that and to start at the very beginning and to kind of understand about your upbringing. Where did you grow up? You said Croydon, and how was that for you?
Yeah, cool. So growing up in Croydon, life was a bit of a movie. I can't even lie that. Not to be cliche or anything, but things were never easy. Growing up in a single mother household, I still had contact with my dad, don't get me wrong, but predominantly just my mum and my brothers. Things weren't easy. I'm the oldest.
Of how many?
So of two younger siblings as well. So yeah, man, music was always the thing I felt like I could really truly express myself in. Before it came to rapping and actually putting lyrics on beats, it was more just writing rhymes, poetry, just getting it on paper and getting my thoughts out there. And yeah, man, growing up, my mom's a singer-songwriter, so she was always making music in the house. Music was playing in my house 24/7, at crazy times. It could be from 6 a.m. It could be at 1 a.m., 2 a.m. in the morning. Some type of music is getting played. So yeah, my mom was always getting me to help with writing songs, melodies and here and there and lyrics. So yeah, man.
That's sick. That is really good to understand. And I mean, I wonder how that affected your school life, the 1 or 2 a.m. Music. But we can go into that.
It's mad. I think it was multiple things, but no word of a lie. Yeah, GCSE times, I slept in every single exam. I promise you. If you speak to any of my teachers from secondary school or my friends from school and stuff, they're that Flo was always sleeping in class, or every exam I'll try and, I don't know what was wrong with me. I tried to finish the exam as quick as possible and just literally just sleep on the table and get out of the way. That was me.
How did your mum feel about that?
My mum, she was very pushed me academic wise. Don't get me wrong, at home, especially when I was younger, before I was had my could think for myself. But my mum was really helped me with my homework and stuff. So my mum always used to go the extra mile, get me past paper books and stuff. So she was really pushing me academically. To be honest, I don't think she even knew about me sleeping in class and shit, except when the teachers would call up and say blah blah blah. But other than that, she said focus on your academics first, then you can do music as much as you want. Do music and sport, that's what she was. So she was quite on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's interesting. I wanted to track back a little bit, and you said so growing up in a single home. So your mum was a single mum.
Yeah.
What was the situation there? How did that happen?
So obviously growing up, it was just me, my mum, my brothers. To be honest, I've never seen me and my mum and my dad in a relationship. So just all I knew. So it's not it was a situation where it was what do they call it? Is it called a nuclear family or something? Yeah, it wasn't it was a nuclear family and then a divorce happened and then I was I wasn't used to it. It's just something that I always knew, so I didn't really know any different. So in a way.
Do you think that makes it harder or easier?
That's what I was about to say. I think in a way, it might make it a bit easier, if anything.
Because you have nothing to compare it to.
Yeah. Obviously, like it's only as I got a bit older and I'll go to like friends' houses and stuff, and like I would see like the two parents. Obviously, you don't know what happens behind closed doors, but I'll make comparisons about right, like okay, cool, it's like this. But like before that, it's like that's all I knew. So just life, you get me? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to understand, because you mentioned like a brief snippet of it, but it's good to go into more detail and to get a cleaner grasp on what exactly you were talking about.
Yeah.
And another thing that you referenced within kind of the first point of this conversation was, you said, I know it might be a bit cliche, but growing up was mad, this, that and the other.
Yeah.
What did you mean by that?
Well, like there was some days like a couple madnesses happened, like I think just based on the area I was living in, like I remember there was one situation at home, flipping mistaken identity. So I'm at home with it's me, my mum, my two younger brothers, and my uncle at the time. My uncle's quite young; he's only 7 years older than me. So we're in the house, and then just hear like a knock at the door. So like my uncle goes to answer the door. Now, how old was I before? I think I was like 12. Between like 12 or 13.
So he was 19.
Yeah. So I hear a knock at the door, and my uncle goes to open it, and it's like some like youths, they're like, does blah 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 live at this address, saying some like girl's name or something. Obviously I have no sisters, it's not my mum, but it's not my uncle. So like he's like, nah, like, doesn't live here, definitely wrong address. Close the door, continue watching TV like normal. Then literally like 10 minutes later we hear like boom boom boom, door booted off, man them come in, one of them had a gun, like some of them saying that to my uncle, like where's she, blah blah blah, like I remember them coming into the living room, like booting open the living room door, like and like looking behind the sofas, under the tables, going into the bedrooms, opening cupboards, like looking for this person that doesn't even live at this address. And it turned out the person lived like 10 doors up. So yeah, they got the wrong address. So that happened, and that, I can't lie, that was quite mad at a young age, because obviously one, like I'm the oldest out of my siblings, so it's like I got to protect them. And like I feel like after that, it kind of made me not paranoid, but like I don't want to say PTSD because I've never been diagnosed, but it just kind of gives you that feeling of a bit of anxiety, like you don't know, kind of like anything could happen at any moment, or if those people are going to come back. So yeah, that was quite a mad situation.
Yeah, that's hard to imagine, if I'm completely honest with you. That is absolutely crazy. And yeah, wow. Yeah, I can only imagine how that affected you. Wow, thank you for being so honest and for sharing that. And it's one of those things. That's why it's so important to ask twice in any situation, like whether it's mental health, whether it's anything like that. So you said, a couple madnesses happened when I grew up.
Yeah.
If I didn't ask, like we would never have heard that story, and that I think will be a huge part of the success within your career. You can take those sorts of injustices, those horrible situations within your upbringing, and put them into power to grow and to get to where you're going to go within the industry. So yeah, thank you for sharing.
No problem, bro.
I guess I'm not sure really if we could top that, but I did want to ask, and I ask a lot of people, so like growing up, and it might be more of a mental thing, but what would you say was like your biggest struggle or your darkest moment within your childhood?
I feel like my biggest struggle in my childhood was probably, I feel like it was putting my energy towards the wrong things. So
such as?
So like I just used to like, I'll be so honest in this interview, like I used to just like put so much of my self-worth in girls, like things like that. So like growing up, like if for example I was chatting to a girl and things weren't going exactly how I wanted to, I would literally put my whole life on pause, or I would stop doing things that I know that can further me in my career or my personal life just because of this one person. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like that was when I was younger though, like 16, 17, 18, like I would really be lost in that kind of sense. So yeah, I say that's one of my biggest things, like kind of not knowing when to like kind of step aside and like put myself first and things like that.
Why do you think that was the case when you were that age?
If I'm being totally honest, I feel like it's because of the living situation at home. Obviously, where in my household there was quite a pressure on my mum sometimes. I feel like because I didn't always have that connection with my mum. Me and my mum were very close, but sometimes when things got hard, it was like either 100% or nothing. I feel like when it was nothing, I kind of put it elsewhere. I think that's exactly why. So
yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. It does make a lot of sense. So to kind of move on to maybe slightly more positive things within your childhood, you referenced the huge influence that music had within your household, and you helping with the melodies, etc., and writing poetry. But when did you first start making music yourself?
I was about 8 or 9 years old.
8 or 9?
Yeah. It's mad. Like I was 8 or 9 years old. I'm trying to remember exactly. And I remember my mum also used to put on like events, like music events.
Okay. What sort of events?
So for example, like she got grant funding from Croydon Council, and was able to put on events in Croydon and stuff, like public ones where people perform and like big crowds come, like stuff like that. So I remember I wrote a song, and I remember telling my mum that I wanted to perform at the event when I was 9 years old, and there's actually a video of me singing it that my mum sent it to me like a couple of months ago. Oh, it's so cringe. It's so cringe, but I remember like performing it like to loads of people, and like it's something that I wanted to do. It's something that like no one told me, yeah, you should do this, but so I just wrote it and I done it, and I remember the feeling of performing and getting crowd reaction and knowing that it's art that you've made yourself, it's literally come from yourself, and seeing how people respond to it, that's something that I've always kind of kept with me. And from there, I then went to an event, a festival, I can't remember what it's called, to be honest. I went to a festival in Manchester when I was about, I think I was 9 or 10 as well, and I'd done that. That was a bit bigger.
You performed again?
Yeah, I performed again there. Then
solo or?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is incredible.
Yeah. And then from there, I think when I was like 15, 16, I done Croydon Summer Festival. That was another one. Then I done Brixton Splash as well, which is an event I used to run in Brixton, all around that same age, 15, 16. So yeah.
That is absolutely incredible. And at what age then? So you mentioned 8 or 9 when you first started making that music. At what age did you think, look, this is the path for me, this is what I want to do, I want to make it a career? Only
from 16. Even though I'd done it at 8 or 9, I was just a child. Like I wasn't really thinking like, like I want to be a rapper, blah blah blah. Like I feel like back then, like I don't know, I just loved football, to be honest. Like football was the thing. Like I wanted to like be a baller. I don't know, I think at that age, in my kind of not generation, but like my kind of time period at that age, I feel like it wasn't as realistic to even think, I want to be a rapper, make a career out of it, in the UK anyway. I feel like most people my age just want to be ballers. Maybe nowadays you get like 9-year-olds that will be like, I want to be a rapper, but I didn't take it seriously until like, I'll say like 16, since I left secondary school.
What do you think gave you the impression then that you could take it seriously? So you referenced like people saying, like they want to be a baller or whatever. What do you think gave you the belief that actually this is a viable career choice?
In secondary school, I was very expressive, like with music and stuff. So I remember just before 16, but I remember like year 7, first ever day of school, first ever day. I remember I'm in form tutor, and I remember I'm making beats on the table and like making songs, and like my boy next to me, my boy Henry at the time, he's singing along, and we made up like a song, and I promise you, like, the whole year group would sing that song. Like we'll make up like random words that put them into melody, and the whole year group would end up singing it in lessons and shit, and people still remembered it till like year 11, blah blah blah. Like it was crazy. And then in year 11, we done me and a couple of my boys done a remix to what song is it? Tiger Rack City. And
good song.
We done a remix to it. Obviously, I'm half Ghanaian, half Jamaican. All my boys were African in it, so we called it Af City instead of Rack City. And then again, like when I done my verse, like it's what everyone was like rapping and stuff. Like everyone was rapping a song in school. I was thinking like this could actually happen. Like, you know what I'm saying? So as soon as I left school, I chose to study music in college. I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. If it's not as an artist, it's as a manager or A&R or something, someone behind the scenes. But music is definitely something that I'm gonna take seriously. So yeah,
that's a good story. Again, thank you for sharing.
That's cool.
No, that's I can only imagine the whole year group coming together. And how did that feel for you, like at the time?
it felt amazing, like just like to be like I don't like to call myself humble, because when you call yourself humble, it means you're not humble. But at the time, I wasn't really loud and boastful. Like I wasn't like, oh yeah, do you remember I'm the one that came up with this? So it was like, it was more a collective thing in the end. Like everyone was singing it, but to know that it's something that me and my boy kind of started, and that we're all like together, it's just amazing to know that it kind of opened my eyes to how much of an impact music can have. You know what I'm saying? Like it can really impact a lot of people and bring people together. So yeah, man, it was lit.
Yeah, definitely. And the reason I kind of asked that question is I wanted to understand, it's interesting that you referenced earlier about your mum and how she pushed being academically successful as like a first priority initially.
Yeah.
So the reason I wanted to understand about when you started to take music seriously, how did your mum feel about it at the time?
Yeah, my mum was very supportive of my music, like super supportive even to this day. So soon I passed all my GCSEs, like I didn't fail one of them. So soon as I got my results and I said like, I'm studying music in college and stuff. In fact, that is a lie. That is a lie. I missed a little bit. I didn't even go to study music in college straight away. I studied sports science first. Then at the end of...
Why was that?
Because I felt like no one told me to do it. Actually, my dad said you should do something like sports science. I listened to him and I did like sport. Like I said, I'm always a big fan of football. So I done sports science, but then came towards the end of the year now, first year of college, and I was like, this isn't really what I want to do. Like I can do it. Yeah, I'm alright at it, but it's not something I'm proper passionate about. Like, so I literally just took it off my own accord and signed up for a music course without telling my parents. I just done it myself.
Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually, obviously, my parents found out. My mum was very supportive. My dad, not so. On the other hand, he was like,
why?
Because he was saying I should have told him beforehand, and like told him what I was going to do, my plans. That music's not really like, what's the word? Stable career and stuff like that. Sports science opens more avenues, but I was like, look, this is what I want to do, and I've always been like, when I want to do something, I'll once I make a decision, I'll do it. Like,
yeah, I was going to say, so how did your dad's feedback on saying that it's not stable, this, that, and the other make you feel? Because I feel like when you get that, you can go one or two ways. You can like agree with it and you can say, look, fine, I'll put my hands up, or for me, what it would do for me is it would give me more passion to actually prove that person wrong and say, no, like you're wrong.
I feel like that's what it gave me in that situation. I feel like it made me want to do it even more and prove my dad wrong. To be honest, he wants the best for me, but nobody really truly knows like your capabilities inside of you except for yourself. Whether you reach that potential or not, you know inside like the dreams and aspirations you have and the vision you have for yourself. So I thought, you know what, I'm not gonna let anything get in the way, and I'm just gonna go for it. So yeah,
definitely. And talking about going for it, let's wrap the past part of the podcast up, and I feel it's a perfect opportunity to go into the present. So from an outside perspective, of someone that watches your work and watches it come out, it feels like you are very much going for it at the moment, as you say. So obviously I know, but for people that don't, what is it you're working on at the moment? What's like your most recent work? And it's funny you referenced as well earlier, just to kind of tie it in about like the girl situation that you referenced, and obviously the hook on the new song.
So let's touch on that. Paco Rabanne is my most recent release. That's like a take on my kind of journey with trying to balance music and relationships, making money, all at the same time.
How hard is that?
Bro, it's a myth. Because I see music is almost like a relationship in itself. It takes so much energy and so much kind of focus that if you take your eye off it for too long, like you can be 10 steps back. You know what I'm saying? So when you're doing music and you're talking to someone or in a relationship or whatever with someone who, they can be supportive, but if they don't really truly understand what you're trying to do and they're not there supporting it as much as you are supporting it, it can deter you and it can distract you and it can slow you down, and that's no fault of that person's, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, you said take 10 steps back. So you kind of touched upon, look, how hard it is to do what you're doing, finances, relationship, the music. and then you reference the fact of going 10 steps back. How demoralising is that, given all the effort you put in to get that 10 steps forward?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Like it's crazy because it almost feels like when you do go 10 steps back like that, it almost feels like, is it even worth it? Like, is this actually going to happen for me? Do you get what I'm saying? Especially when it happens over and over again. And I know other artists have spoken on it. They say, like, oh, there's been so many times where like I was going to give up, but it sounds cliche again, but it's facts. Like, when you go 10 steps back, it's probably going to happen 5, 6, 7 times. And like, when that does happen, it almost feels like, yeah, this might not be for me. Maybe I should just do something that's a bit more stable.
Sports science.
Yeah, maybe I should have done sports science. maybe I would have been further, and I probably would have. But I feel like in the long term, it's worth it. You got to keep going, and it's about how you get over that. And there's a lot of factors to how you can get over that. And
what do you draw on to get over it?
Having good people around me, one, I'm quite blessed to have a circle of friends who really support my music. So when they see I'm 10 steps back, they'll tell me, they'll be like, bro, like a year ago or 2 years ago, like you was inspiring, like you was really going for it. Like, I could see like things were picking up, like we need to be back on it, and like they'll keep it real with me. And then it might not hit straight away, but I'll think on it, and then I'll be like, yeah, that they're correct, and I'll think back, and then I'll start moving forward. And I'll say another thing is, don't be afraid, if anyone's listening and watching this, like, don't be afraid to show people your talent, because momentum is a big thing as well. So like, don't just like, it's good to like work behind the scenes and stuff, but still like show people what you're about, because you'll get feedback and it'll kind of push you to keep doing more, because it's like a domino effect. So yeah
definitely. I think self-belief's absolutely huge, and one thing that I read a short while ago and that I draw on a lot, and you reference how your friends are constantly supportive, and one thing that I think is important is, let's say for sake of example, you dropped a song and it did, I don't know, 100k on YouTube, for sake of example, completely organic, and you went and told your friend, their reaction is probably going to be like, oh, well done, but I thought you could do it. Whereas you're thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I've just done this. So you need to think in your friend's mindset of, actually, it's a great achievement, but so what? I can do that. You're good enough to do that. And I think we need to kind of implant the mindset of others within ourselves.
Facts, man. Like even I remember I had a show in Brighton a couple of weeks ago, and one of my boys, he's been my boy for a good few years, AD. He was like, bro, he was like, you're a rapper. I was like, yeah, but he kept saying it to me. He was like, bro, you're actually an artist. Like you shine on a show like that isn't normal. Like normal people don't just go on a stage and be able to like own the stage like that and get a reaction like that. Like, you're actually, this is for you. Do you get what I'm saying? And it made me, like, things like that make me deep it. Like, it's from a different perspective. It's like, for me, it's like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. But for him and my friends, it's like, bro,
you can believe it.
I expected you to do this. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, he said it. Like, I knew this was going to happen. So it's mad that you say that.
Quick one. We work with a lot of up-and-coming urban artists across the UK who are seeking press assistance, radio airtime, creative marketing solutions, and really all-round artist development within an industry that is constantly evolving. Which is why when we had the opportunity to partner with the 1994 Collective on this podcast, it made perfect sense. So to any aspiring artists that are seeking commercial success, please do get in contact with the 1994 Collective and let them know we sent you. Yeah, 100%. So, I wanted to go back to Paco Rabanne. I've got the numbers written down, but from your perspective, how happy are you with the release?
I'm very happy.
Be honest, there was a sigh there.
Because I'll be honest, I'm very happy. I'm a person that never ever focuses on views and numbers. I never ever do it, because I've done it in the past and it can demoralize. I agree. So I never do. I even got a song called Views. We can talk about that in the future, but like, I never focus on views. The thing that I'm happy about is the impact. I focus on impact more than views. So the impact that it's got is the best impact I've ever got from a song. I've had little clips and stuff that have gone more viral and got more views, but the impact itself, I've never experienced this, of people from different countries DMing me saying, like, this song's crazy, like, I'm coming London next year, like, I want to see you perform, or like people DMing me saying, like, yeah, that song stuck in my head, or like, yeah, this is your sound. Like, I've never had that where the impact is so much. I'm seeing people that I don't know post the lyrics and stuff. So I feel like I'm very happy. Like, I'm super, super, super happy, and I feel like it's one of them songs that I'm gonna keep building and growing over time. So yeah, man, I'm happy for sure.
Yeah, that's interesting. And the reason I wanted to keep it on topic with Paco Rabanne, there's something that I've written down, and you've come in your bench art stuff, and I wanted to spin off that, but for a different reason. And one of the very first things you referenced when we started to speak about the present was the relationships, the music, the time you put into the music, but also the money. So I wanted to understand how hard it is financially in today's industry. And the reason that I reference bench art, for those wondering, is I feel the image is a huge part of commercial success at the moment. So I wondered how hard it is to keep up with not just producing the music and going to the studio and doing all this stuff, but actually having to spend X amount on an outfit for a music video just to keep up.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I feel like it's hard if you haven't got the correct balance, and getting the balance is one of the hardest things, which is what I talk about in Paco. So for a long time I was doing music, and I felt like it was impossible for me to work a full-time job because it does take away from the creativity. But as I've gotten older, I've realised that if you're able to balance it at least a little well enough, you can do it. So what I do, I just work full-time, and then obviously I save expenses. Now that I record and mix myself, that saves expenses. And then I just I'm really scheduled with my music now, so I have songs stacked up, so it's not like I'm working month to month to work on one song that I don't know what's going to happen next. Yeah, there's a plan. But I would say it is hard because like you said, the image is important, but I thought you just got to work within your means. As long as the music that you're making is true to yourself and people resonate with it, the image kind of comes second. So, like I said, as long as your most authentic self, people are gonna love you regardless. Yeah. The bench art thing is just that I love the brand. I just love supporting them, and I have a vision for my career in it, and they're a part of that vision. They might not even know it yet, but that's where I want to get to. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, one thing that you mentioned then was work within your means, and I think it's absolutely right, and it sounds like you've got an incredible mindset and you can do that, but I do wonder, if I'm being pessimistic, how hard that is for a lot of people when they see these images and stuff, how hard it is to work within their means. So, I mean, this is just completely, I have no idea the answer to this question, but how much of that glorified image of the Dior's, everything like that, how much do you think that contributes to crime and work in the means to get that sort of stuff?
Contributing to crime, I feel like it does play a small part.
Yeah, I think obviously there's much deeper issues, but a factor within.
It's definitely a factor. But like I said, I think it depends on the mindset of the individual. Someone who's gonna do crime to get those type of assets was probably always gonna do crime anyway. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a part of the aesthetic as a rapper, as a musician, to kind of have these flashy clothes, high designer brands. So it definitely does play a part, but at the same time, I feel like it depends on what you stand for as an artist. If as an artist you stand for looking flashy 24/7 and having the latest garms and having the latest like neck chains and shit, you're gonna have that image. If as an artist your what you want is just to make an impact and to be your most authentic self and relate to people, then you're gonna dress like people be able to relate to.
Yeah. What do you think the split is between those two categories that you just referenced?
What do you mean by the split?
So say, I don't know, 50% on this side, what do you think the split is?
That's a good question. I feel like the split is probably 65% towards more flashy. I'd say 70, let's say 70%.
Okay.
Let's say 70%.
So the majority.
Yeah, I'd say majority. Only because I feel like that's what's out there the most. Like mainstream rappers, that's what's out there the most, whether it's the UK, the US, like most of them have flashy grams and drawers and stuff. So when you're an upcoming artist, that's what you look towards. You want to be the best. Like you're looking at those type of people, looking at their houses, what shoes they're wearing. Even all these series on YouTube like Kick Game and stuff, you're seeing splash bare peas on kicks, blah blah blah. So like, I'd definitely say it's the majority towards the flashy stuff, but there's definitely, I feel like even more so now, there's a wave of upcoming artists that are just themselves, like completely, and they don't even care what they look like, and people are relating to them and they're doing mad numbers. So yeah, man,
you see that like within like kind of your group as well, like your Mallies, your Sykes, you like people like that. I would say they're much more conscious and much more focused on like the lyrical side of things rather than just the image, if that makes sense. Other than Mally's beanie, of course.
He loves the beanie.
That does not come off. But actually, I think I saw him in a Moncler one the other day. He's got a new one, hasn't he?
The upgrade.
But yeah, no, thank you again for being so honest. Like, it's just one of those things, like, I have no idea, but it's just an interesting topic and interesting to get your thoughts on it. And a good discussion point. So so to keep on present, so what else are you doing at the moment? I know that you mentioned like the mixing and the mix downs and stuff like that, and doing your own recordings. So what else?
So currently I'm working on my next single. I'm hoping that'll be dropping very early December. Very like first week of December. It's called Signs, and it's like
that might be, just to say, if you want to plug it, that might be out by the time this comes out. So feel free to speak in the present moment.
If it is out by the time this video drops, make sure you run it up. It's a movie, trust me, it's a movie. I think the concept behind it is sick.
What is the concept behind it?
The concept behind it is kind of a part 2 to Pack a Rabanne, but if you've heard it, it's like a mixture of one of my freestyle releases early this year called Too Many Thoughts as well. So it's like a blend of the two. So I'm still talking about like my journey of trying to balance both, trying to balance like everything I'm trying to do. But this one's more like it's a bit more energy, and it's like you can hear the more self-confidence, and it's like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm no longer like confused about how I'm going to balance both. Like I'm doing it, and this is how I'm going to do it, and you're going to see how I'm doing it. So
what do you think that confidence is a result of?
I feel like that confidence is a result of, I wrote that song after Pack a Rabanne, and I feel like that song came from a confidence of like having all my music laid out and knowing, cool, this is exactly what I'm going to do. Like lockdown really helped me in that way of planning and like knowing how I'm going to deliver my career as an artist, and that song came from that. That was one of the last songs. I've got loads of songs, but that was one of the last songs I made out in that time period, and it's like, yeah, like this is how I'm going to do it. I'm organised now. I'm going to arrive, and yeah, it's going to be patterned. Yeah.
I'm just thinking, and to be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily going to discuss this, but just off the back of what you were saying then, and it seems like you've got like a very regimented strategic plan for your releases and how you foresee and imagine them coming out and the successes that they're going to create, which often is the role of a manager. And we come across, because obviously we work with a huge amount of up-and-coming artists, and more often than not, they have a manager within some capacity, whether that's their friends, their uncle, their brother, this, that, and the other. There's normally a manager. So, as we discussed off-camera before filming, you don't have a manager. So, I wondered if you could kind of balance the argument, and maybe for those people that are thinking, should I get a manager? Should I use this guy? What is the reason you don't have a manager?
I don't have a manager, but don't get me wrong, I do have a few people, like friends, that I'll say my ideas to, and they'll be completely honest with me and give their feedback. But the reason why I don't have like on contract a signed manager is just because, like I said off camera, I feel like I'm a very hands-on artist, and I like to think for myself. I kind of like where I've known for quite a long time I want to do music. I feel like I just have my career mapped out in my head, and unless you can read my mind, you're not gonna exactly know exactly how it is. Like I can articulate it, but it's still not going to be exactly how I see it in my head. And I feel like that's why I feel like without having a manager, it just allows me to be as free as possible to do what I want without having any second doubt. But that's not to say that I will forever not have a manager.
What point do you think it's viable and makes sense for you to have a manager?
I feel like it will be at a point where I can't handle organising things myself. Don't get me wrong, I struggle sometimes now, but I feel like when it's at a point where I completely can't, I can't organise my releases on top of like doing shows and all and interviews and stuff. Like when there's too much going on for me to organise, then I'll have a manager. But even then, I feel like the manager I'll have will just be like more of an organiser. I don't feel like they'll be like, oh no, write this song, release this song like this. Like I'm always going to be the one to say, no, like this song is coming out and this is the sound I'm doing because of whatever reason. Like I don't want anyone to ever tell me I can't do this type of music or you should do this.
Yeah. No, it's very respectable, and it almost treads a little bit into the future section of the podcast. So to go into that, and a question that, to be fair, I normally ask everyone and get very different answers from. What is the end goal for you, for Flo?
The end goal is I just want to be a mogul, man. Like not even I just want to be. I'm going to be a mogul. I'm going to be that person who people look at and they're like, right, like he paved the lane in this way. Like
what is that? What does that lane look like?
I want to call the final end goal. Like the final end goal is to like really develop music and artists on a level where like by the time they take off they're clear. Like, I don't feel like that happens a lot in the UK, so this is apart from my own artistries. I feel like the UK scene is just younger than, for example, the US scene, so it just maybe hasn't got to that stage yet. But if you look at like the US and stuff, not to make comparisons, but like you've got people like Missy Elliott, Michael Jackson, all these like artists who when they did like get on the main stage, their careers just blew like on crazy levels. One, that's because of the size of America, but that's because they also had artist development from such a young age. From like very very young age, so it's like they were trained kind of to be at that level, and I want to kind of bring that to the UK. A lot of UK artists I hear for like 2 years and then they ghost, or they have like a 5-year span careers. Like it's rare for UK artists to have like a 10 years in the game. So I want to do that for myself, and then eventually when it's time, I feel like it's time for me, I want to pass that on to the younger generation and do that for other upcoming artists and really mold them and use all the experience I have, whether that's artistry, like mentally, management, everything, and push them in that way. That's the final end goal.
Yeah. Definitely. It sounds, well, it seems as if you are incredibly driven, not just from the answer you just gave, but from the whole conversation. And I wondered, so in the future, you've just spoke about your end goal and an admirable one at that, but what is the fuel behind that goal? Because there seems like there's passion there, but also I'm sure you're conscious there's going to be sacrifices you have to make to get to that end goal that you just referenced.
That comes from an artist myself who has known he's talented from a very young age, like I spoke on before, from like 9 years old. But I feel like I never, apart from like inside my house, I feel like I never really got that artist development. For example, I've had like opportunities to like do things in music, wherever, but I feel like no one really in the UK, no one really takes you under their wing and be like, like, come studio, like, this is what we're gonna work on, blah blah blah. Like, it's more like more like a pay to play thing. Like as long as you're paying, then cool. And even then, you go to studios. There've been so many studios where you pay for the studio session, and the engineer doesn't really care about the music. He's just there because you're paying him. There's like not really development in the session. So I feel like for myself, I've experienced that a lot in my career, and I know how much of a difference having that and not having that can make. I feel like I've had to develop myself to a certain point, and so it takes a bit longer. So I just want to change that kind of the way things work in that way.
You want to give off what you missed out on.
100%, 100%.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And again, reference the word admirable, but it absolutely is. So again, another kind of common topic that I draw on within these podcasts is kind of success, but also legacy. So I think success, the word success, it means different things to different people. So it could be like we've kind of touched upon the cars, the jewelry, the clothes, etc. But what does the word success mean like to you? What's Flo's definition of success?
Success to me is I'm going to go back to the word impact. It's about how much of an impact you can have on the people around you, and further than that. So, to be honest, success to me can from when you make your friends and family feel a certain type of way about your music, or put them in a better situation from your music. To me, that's success. And then we can take it further as an impacting the area you're from, your country, the world. You can go further. I feel like that's success. Like leaving a legacy. Like when you pass away, like what are people gonna remember you for? Like what have you actually done on earth that's gonna make people think like, right, like this person like done amazing things. Like that is success to me, not really materialistic things.
And on a scale of 1 to 10, how important is it for you to achieve that success?
10, man. It's over 10. It's 10. I can't physically leave this earth without doing that. Like I have to leave that before I go. I have to, literally. Yeah.
No, I rate the answer, and again, the passion coming across. And I know for anyone watching or listening, or however you're digesting this, they'll be feeling it as well, even on the other end of a phone, a speaker, headphones, whatever it might be. So, yeah, to be honest with you, that's pretty much everything I wanted to go through and more. So, before asking the final 2 questions that we ask everyone on this podcast, I just wanted to ask you: is there anything that we've missed out on throughout the past, present, future journey that you did want to bring up?
I bet there is. What was I gonna say? Yeah. One thing I was gonna say, if whoever's watching this, if you've like heard about me from before, or you look back on my old catalogue, you're definitely gonna notice a period where like my style has kind of changed. I would say I feel like the reason for that is because, to be honest, it hasn't changed, but I feel like it's developed.
Evolved.
Yeah, it's evolved. So when I first kind of was making music, my first track that I ever released was called I Wonder, and that's like on a old school hip hop type beat, like a boom bap type beat. And I felt like I was able to really express my lyricism and fit the different pockets in the instrumental and really get a message across at the same time. Now, as time's gone by, I've jumped on like grime tracks, I've jumped on like you can say like drilly kind of tracks. Different type of genres, but I feel like I'm back with the hip hop style, but it's more evolved now. So it's more like alternative rap, more like jumpy, has lyricism, but it's easy to listen to at the same time. And I feel like that is where the UK scene is heading towards. I love doing research, and I've clocked like a lot of upcoming artists are in that genre, and I feel like for me, I just sit perfectly in it. Like that's me as a person. Like it just comes so natural. So yeah, I would say that. So yeah, man, enjoy the new sounds. Enjoy the
new wave. Yeah, come on. Man. Yeah, no, thank you for the explanation. I know, so that makes a lot of sense to give those fans the update, or explanation that potentially they wanted. So of
course,
yeah, it makes sense. So yeah, final 2 questions. So. First one is going to be, so we're asking everyone, so within the industry, obviously there's a lot of unanswered questions. So one of the things that we want to do moving forward, and part of our journey, is to shed light on those unanswered questions. So if there was one thing within the UK rap music industry that you would like light shed on, or an unanswered question to be answered, what would that be?
It would be, why do UK labels and people who can make a difference in UK music give so much attention to microwave music? Like,
and what's like, microwave music?
Microwave music is like memes that go viral. Yeah. That are here today and gone tomorrow, and they get like 500k pound deals and stuff like that. I do see like why it gets success and why it gets so much attention, but at the same time, I feel like going back to artist development, that 500k could be used to develop an artist who has natural talent from a young age and really push them, and then in the long run it's going to work more beneficial for the artist, for the label, for everyone, and UK music as a whole. So why do we focus so much on memes and short-lived music rather than really
long-term impact?
Long-term impact. Yeah.
Okay, I won't expand on that because who knows, we might use that for future content. But yeah, thank you for that, and that's definitely an interesting topic, and one that no one's brought up so far. So unique again.
Yeah.
So yeah, last question, not so much of a question. So again, just to kind of grow our portfolio of connections and interesting conversations that we're having on this podcast, we're asking everyone to nominate people to come on. So again, so it could be anyone really, stylist, etc., artist, manager, so on. Who do you nominate?
I got bare names in my head right now, but I'm gonna think outside the box, as I like to do. I'm not even gonna nominate an artist or manager or producer. I'm gonna nominate my good friend MB, who is a digital creator. So he works on like digital assets.
Okay.
He's worked with like I don't know if I want to say names. I can let him speak if he comes on. But he's worked with a few big people in the industry, and his idea of how music should be put across in kind of like a digital way is so sick. So he does graphic design, he does like motion graphics, he does videography. He's done my videography for Paco Rabanne and Science. He does digital assets, so like little things like if you hit the charts, like you got the videos, So all of that is so important as an artist in this day and age. Agreed. As well, when so much on social media. So I think getting someone like him on would be amazing. It'll be something different as well. So, speaking
to this camera and tell him to...
MB, I've nominated you, bro. Listen, when you're back he's on tour in America right now. Okay. When you're back, you need to be on this and give your take on the industry and your story, bro. Come on, bro. We'll be lit.
Let's go. Well, that wraps it up. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for the honesty. No problem, again, I say this to a lot of our guests, but that's because we have such top quality guests. But thank you for articulating yourself so well. And what an episode. I've enjoyed it.
Yeah, me too, man. It's been good. It's my first interview and it's been lit, man. Thank you, bro.
Come on.
Love.
Nice one, bro.